Hey folks, Easy Jeezy here. Okay, the scenario is you just bought a car. Maybe you just built a car, you had a shop build the engine, you have a dual carburetor set up. Maybe you've got dual carbs on dual Webers or Dellortos in your car, and you take it to a shop to tune it, and it runs great. I mean, you just love it. And wintertime comes, whatever, and you've got to park it for a long period of time. It was running great when last time I drove it, but now it's not running so good. Or you're out on the sand dunes, or doing your Baja thing out in the desert someplace, and maybe you hit a bump or something, and all of a sudden it's not running good anymore. It's snapping and it's popping and it's backfiring, and just every time you step on the gas, it's just not running right. And another comment I want to make about when you're running stuff out there on the dunes, if you hear a new noise, if you hear something that you haven't heard before, whether it's a grind, a little tinkle, something banging around, whatever, a new noise, stop and check it out, because sometimes it's a long walk back to camp. Hopefully you're with other people, and hopefully you carry some tools and a tow strap, and that's not fun, going back to camp on the end of a strap, especially out in the dirt. But anyhow, so I want to just show you what I do. Everybody does things different, and let's just take it from there. Okay, so this is the first time I've started a car and wished that I had a bad jet, a clogged jet, so that I could demonstrate this. And anyhow, I don't think it's going to happen, but we're gonna pretend like it is. So so here's the drill. I'm out on the sand, just say for example, and hit a bump about a quarter-mile back, and didn't want to get left behind, so struggling along with the engine running not so good, and it's popping and snapping, and so we all stopped for a beverage, a soda pop, and I got to work on my car. So first thing I'm going to do is take an overall look, just make sure that the linkage is connected, that everything's moving, that everything appears the way it should be. Then I'm going to get in my little bag of tricks, and I know I'm going to have to start looking at some jets because everything else looks good. I'm going to take some, here's some brake parts cleaner. Doesn't make any difference, but it get that junk off of your carburetor. So I'm just squirting a little bit off here, and the next thing I'm going to do is get into my little storage box that goes with me every place, and I'm going to get a piece of plastic. Now, I don't care if you got a tarp or a coat, a raincoat, something, but put something on the ground underneath your carburetor, because sure as the dickens, when you don't, you're gonna touch something hot, or something's gonna happen, and you're gonna drop that jet. It just doesn't happen often, but believe me, it'll happen eventually. So okay, you kind of washed off your carburetor, you got your tarp underneath it, and let's see if we can get it started. Alright, let's get in a little closer here. Sorry about that, just trying to give you the best possible advantage here. Okay, so there's a couple things we can do. Maybe you start it up in the morning when the engine's cold and you just won't clear out. It just won't run right. Maybe it's been running for 2 or 3 minutes, but it's just misfiring like crazy. One of the things you can do is carefully take the back of your hand or touch the exhaust pipe. Touch it by each separate cylinder and see if you got a cold one or one that's not as hot as the other. Maybe you can flick some water on it first. Put your finger in some a glass of water or something and just flick it on it like you would on a stove. Get some, and if you got it where it's not sizzling hot, be safe, be careful, use some common sense, but you know, lightly touch it. If you've got a cylinder that's cold, that's where you want to start checking your jets and things. Of course, there's always, we're not even going to discuss electrical. Let's stay away from that. Okay, so here we are, and you just start on either side. You don't know which one's missing. You just start. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to count my turns. I'm going to go, because it was running great yesterday. Nothing's changed. Come on. What? I just got to find out what happened now. So I'm going to count my turns. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. Uh-oh. It started to die, right? It started to die. It doesn't want to run right. Okay, so I'm going to go back out. 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. About 3 1/8 is where it was. Okay, I know that cylinder is not clogged. It's not clogged up, because if it was clogged, nothing would have changed. The fact that engine started to stutter shows that jet is working. So it's kind of a reverse mindset. I don't know. Some people have trouble with the concept. Leave that one alone because it did something. Now let's go to the next one over here. Okay, 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3 1/4. Okay, you hear the difference in the sound. It's running on 3 cylinders. I just shut off that cylinder. So that's not the problem either. So 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, a little bit more. That's where they seem to run the best. Now, also, I'm going to blip my throttle a little bit, and I'm going to watch the accelerator pump right up here. I'm going to make sure. Okay, I saw it move in, and I saw everything's working. And you can tell the way it responded, it was working. Okay, now, I know this is goofy, but I'm trying. Now let's say that you turned in the screw, it had no effect whatsoever. I don't know how to clog a jet intentionally and make it a partial clog, because you can have a total clog or you can have a partial clog. On a Dellorto carburetor, like in our last video when we were looking on the bench, you'd have to take the top of the air cleaner off. I would try real hard not to disturb the air cleaner, because you don't want dirt to fall in the top of your carburetor. Now, in this particular car, with the fiberglass over the top, it's extremely difficult. Sometimes I have to use a mirror. A Weber carburetor might be better in this application because the idle jets would be on the outside, right here. But on the Dellorto, they're down here in the top. The main jet is on the bottom of the big stacks, and the idle jet is on the bottom of the other short stack, you might want to call it. I'm using a split tail screwdriver to lift it up, and I'm not going to disturb that air cleaner because I don't want any crud to fall in out here on the sand. Okay, so you take that jet out, and what I do, I put stuff, hold it in your hand or put it in your mouth or something. There's probably going to be some gas or something in there. It's going to be hard to see. Hold it over your tarp while you're playing with this. Blow through it. Look through it. Then, if you think it's clear, take your brake fluid, and what I do is just hold it on the back over that stem, and I blow through it. I make sure that is clear. You got to make sure that your O-rings don't have any cracks all the way through them, that they're in good condition. You can put a little bit of Vaseline petroleum jelly on them, or Lubriplate, something on there to keep them soft. Then you'd be putting it back down the hole, and you don't have to tighten these things to death. Just get it in there and give it a little tap. Okay, so assuming I did find one jet that had something in it, hooray! You're probably good to go. I don't want to even try to address the possibility that all your jets were clean and it's still running bad. You might want to check your valve clearance the next morning, make sure that a valve didn't close up or come in, and there's all kinds of electrical issues and spark issues, good spark plug wires, insulators, you know, spark plugs. Reading your spark plugs, maybe we should do a video on that, is looking at the color of your spark plugs. But at any rate, that's the routine that I've used for years. It always worked for me. Be sure and put that tarp down, or raincoat, or jacket, or something. Almost sounds like I would almost say that sounds like I might have a partial blockage in the jet. Might be on the other side, but I'll just be repeating what I just showed you, so I don't see any point in messing with it on the timer here. So I'm running out of time. They don't give me much time when you're first starting out. And I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope this helped you. Thanks for the views. Thanks for subscribing. And get out there in the garage, work on your project for a while. See ya.